going on, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this week's video, I am going to be going over, as highly requested by you guys, my displays and how I made them, where I bought them from, and just an overall guide to how I display the LEGO sets in my collection. So I hope after today this helps you out with your LEGO collection and displaying that, but we're going to be going into how I made most of my LEGO Star Wars ship display stands, as that's probably been the most highly requested out of all of my display kind of solutions, I guess. And then also we'll be looking at my minifigure displays as well and how I made these, as this was kind of a more DIY thing and was kind of more of my own creation as opposed to the ship stands, which are just LEGO pieces. And then I'll also be showing off where I got the acrylic display risers, and everything that I have used in the video I will have linked in the description, so be sure to check that out. But let's get into the first part of the video. Alright, and so the first thing that we're going to look at today is my minifigure Shadowbox displays. Now, the first thing you're going to need is this blue base plate from LEGO. It's only like $8 on the LEGO website, but you can also get it at like Target and Walmart. It's very, very useful. This is the best part. I like the blue color the most. Also, what you're going to need are these minifigure stands, and if you didn't already know, these come from the collectible minifigures, so you'll just use those guys, and then it's very simple. All you do, you just connect your minifigure to the stand, and then you can actually slide it into the base plate like this, and it makes for a nice display, and you can really arrange a lot of them on the base plate. It has a lot of room. Also, for the LEGO Star Wars logo, I just get one of my boxes, and each box actually has a few of the logos on it, so like you get a variety of them from one single LEGO set. And I just cut out the logo, very simple, and literally just tape it onto the base plate. And then the next and probably more important part is the shadow box. Now, the shadow boxes can get a little bit pricey, but they are on sale a lot of the time, and they're from Michaels. I have a picture up on the screen now, but again, this will also be linked in the description. Very important part of the display. It protects them from dust and just looks good. Another part of the display are these LED light strips, which I actually got from Home Depot. These are actually really expensive, more expensive than the shadow box most of the time, but I think they're worth it. You can also do without them though if you don't like the LED lights, and literally all I do is just line them around the shadow box, and then there's a cord at the top, and I like to kind of hide that with this duct tape. Literally any black duct tape will do as long as it kind of hides it, and then you can kind of just stick it through the back of the shadow box. It does kind of damage it, but like nobody sees the back of the shadow box, and all you do is just plug it in and boom, there you go. You have a nice minifigure display. And then the next part of my LEGO collection that we'll be looking at today are my ship display stands. Now, there are several different kinds that I have for every single Star Wars ship, and just every ship in general in my LEGO collection, because every LEGO set is unique, so it demands kind of a unique design for each ship, just so that I can like display the most out of it. But obviously I don't have the time to show y'all every single display stand that I have for my ships, but I will be showing off a basic template for kind of each ship. Of course, you kind of have to fine-tune it to each set, but this I think provides a good example for you, and if this doesn't go into enough detail, I can always make a part 2 to this. But anyway, the best part about this, and the most important part in my opinion, are these 1x2 panels on Bricklink. They are found on the Pick-a-Brick wall as well too. If you have a LEGO store near you, you can get them cheaper through that, but if you buy off of Bricklink, if you want them in new condition without any scratches, they do get a bit expensive if you're buying in large quantities. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think it's worth it because it kind of gives off this kind of illusion that they're floating, and literally all you do is just stack them up together. I'll usually connect them together as well so that they don't kind of like bend and are very flimsy, and literally all you do is just connect this to a stand, which is just using plates and tiles. That's all it is. It just connects to the stand, and then from the stand you'll just attach it to the bottom of the set. This is a more basic one, as this one doesn't really need to be at an angle, so this is probably the most simple out of all of the designs. It easily fits on the bottom of the set and looks good. And now we'll move into kind of a little bit more complicated of design, but still not really. I think the only complicated one's the Mandalorian Starfighter, but Anyway, this one is displayed at an angle so that you can kind of get a better look at the ship, and it uses these hinge pieces, which are very important. They are surprisingly cheap on Bricklink too. It doesn't matter what color you get them in because you're probably not going to see them, but I like to have them be one solid color just because I don't know why, I'm just kind of finicky like that, but it really doesn't matter. And as you can see, they are not that expensive at all. And to get this kind of angle done, you have to like have two columns at a different height just so it's able to bend down and look good. And again, it just attaches to the bottom of the ship. Very simple. It's very sturdy as well too, so I'm very proud of this design. It's very simple and I think it looks great. And the next design we'll have is a little bit more complicated. Each ship display stand will kind of be a little more complicated as we progress, but they're really not that bad. This one's for Obi-Wan Starfighter, and as you can see, this one has minifigure stands on it, and I just use these two pieces right here. Honestly, it doesn't matter what piece you use to attach the minifigures to it, whichever one you prefer. And again, this is like similar to the one for the Dark Knight Rises set, just a big column. However, where this one changes is this has an angle, and it also has one of these cylinder pieces that allows for you to kind of move the ship on display around a bit to kind of get some interesting angles in there. And I'd be careful whenever using these because they do make it a little bit flimsy, but as long as you are careful and you don't have kind of a poorly built stand, it's all good. You just have to make sure you're balancing the set on the stand so it doesn't tip over, but it's very simple to attach it, literally just like that, and then it angles itself on the column here, and I think it makes for a great ship. I really like this one, how you can kind of rotate it around however you like. Honestly, it's very customizable. And the next design that we'll look at is a little bit simpler. This is what I use for most of my Star Wars ships. I feel like it's for the bigger ships, you kind of have to have two columns just so it's sturdy, because if you only had one, it would definitely tip over. And it's very simple. You just use these angled pieces again, and literally all you have to do is just like evenly space them on your platform so that the weight is kind of evenly distributed so it doesn't lean more towards one side and fall off. And that's all you do. This one's very simple, but I think it gets the job done. I really like the angles on this ship. And now, moving into probably what's always been my like most highly requested tutorial is for this Mandalorian Starfighter display stand. I can't take credit for it though. I did get this off YouTube. I don't remember what YouTube video I saw, but I think if you YouTube Mandalorian Starfighter display stand, you'll find it. But this one's a bit more complicated. It uses a very different technique from any of the other display stands that I use. It is built up with Technic pieces to kind of accomplish that angle, and it's able to kind of move it around like this. And it uses a few simple pieces. You just get these like small Technic bricks. You don't even have to get this exact one, honestly. As long as you have Technic pins, it'll work fine. And all you do is attach it like this. That accomplishes the angle as well as locks it into the stand so it doesn't go tipping over. And I just attach it like this, and as you can see, it's able to rotate around for a good way to display it. And all you do then is just lock it in so that it's nice and sturdy and very simple. It honestly does not matter what color you use because the back right here is going to be hidden. Like, as you can see, I'm just using like various colors here, so it does not matter. All you need is just another Technic piece so that you can actually slide it in to the first part of the stand so that that's able to lock in and it's nice and sturdy. Then all you do, attach this to the bottom of the Mandalorian Starfighter. I'd assume this would work for the older version of the ship too, and then boom, there you go. That's the Mandalorian Starfighter display stand. Much simpler than it looks, I feel like, but you still gotta do some kind of tuning to make sure it doesn't fall over. And then the final display stand that we're gonna look at is designed for kind of like some of the larger like cruiser type ships, and these ones are very simple as well. You just need like a longer base so that it's able to evenly support the weight of it. And then I've got minifigures laid out here, exact same design as with the Obi-Wan Starfighter. And with this one, what's special is I've used two columns on each side, and they are thicker columns just so that they're able to better support the weight of the for this example, Tanit 4, but it's also the same for my Imperial Light Cruiser. Very straightforward. It's very important to have the two columns though, because I had it with one column earlier and it was just very fragile. So you want to make sure that you're not knocking over your ships. So the big takeaway from these guys is definitely have enough support to withstand the weight of the ships, because that's the worst thing, is to have a ship just completely fall over on display. That's not good because you have to rebuild your set. But obviously I wasn't able to get into every single ship that I have because each one is unique in its own way, but I hope that the few that I did show off provided a good template and help you guys make your own ship display stands. Definitely leave a comment and let me know if this helped. I also have all of the parts I used linked in the description, so you can easily buy them off of Bricklink, or you can also go to the Pick a Brick wall. Alright, and the next part of my kind of Lego collection display area, I guess, is my display risers. This is much simpler than the ships are. All you have to do is just buy these and like find a good way to display them in your collection. As you can see, it allows for you to display much more in a tight space. So I think these are very useful. They're a bit expensive, but definitely worth the money as it allows for you to display more Lego in a smaller space. And honestly, I think it makes the Lego sets you do display look much better. There's several different varieties that you can purchase for each kind of Lego set. Each Lego set kind of demands a different display riser, and the first one we will look at, I'll have a picture up on the screen. I actually got this from Amazon, and yes, it is kind of expensive. Ultimately though, I think it's worth it because I don't have the biggest space to display my Lego sets, and this helps a lot. Also, from the exact same seller, they have a different variety too, where it's kind of a longer display instead of just like large, like height-wise, but I think these are great. They really allow for you to display a ton of Lego in a small space, and I really like them a lot. It's very, very useful, though they are a bit expensive. I think ultimately it is worth the price because if I'm able to display as much Lego as I can, then I will honestly pay any price for that. So again, this is linked in the description of the video too if you want to check those out, but let's get into the next part of my Lego collection. Alright, and the next part we'll look at are my other minifigure stand designs. If the Shadowboxes were a bit expensive, I think it's like $80 in total for like a complete Shadowbox. This is a much cheaper alternative, and you're able to display around the same amount of minifigures, maybe a little bit less, but I think they still look great, and I use them for a few things in my collection. The first one is, of course, this Lego Batman display, and it just uses the minifigure stands. I got a special one from the Lego Batman movie minifigures to have as kind of a little centerpiece, but these are really simple. You literally just stack up some bricks. I use like 2 bricks to kind of elevate the minifigures a bit so you can see all the details, and you can kind of see more of it with my unfinished Lego Marvel Studios minifigure display. Inside and on the back, it does not matter what pieces you use. Nobody is looking at the stand from the back, so as you can see, I literally just used like a bunch of door pieces and like just random pieces that I had lying around. All that matters is that the front is clean. Nobody is looking at the back, so don't worry about that. Literally just use all your junk pieces for that, honestly, but very simple design for it. You'll of course want to use the minifigure stands that you get from the CMF bags to kind of finish off the display, but those guys are very simple. So again, let me know if y'all have any questions with it. And then the next part of the collection that we'll look at for my kind of display solutions are my Brickheadz stands. These are very similar to the minifigure stands, except they kind of require a bit more, I guess, design to them, just because the Brickheadz are a bit more unique than just the minifigure stands from the CMF bags. Literally, it's the same concept though, just like kind of make sure it's well supported in the back, and these are actually modular. It's not like one big stand. I just made several different ones to save on pieces, and as you can see, all I have to actually have the Brickheadz sit inside, I just have tiles, and then they just rest on the tiles. That way you can easily move around each brickhead. It doesn't matter how they look because this is going to be covered up, so you can literally have any piece in there. As long as it's a tile, I think it'll be great, and it allows for a lot of customization with it, and I'm very proud of the Brickheadz stands that I have made. I think they work great. They are a bit expensive though, as you do need quite a bit of parts for them, but I think it's worth it, and it allows for a nice display for these guys as well. And then one final stand that I'll show off today is for the UCS Millennium Falcon. I did not design this stand myself. I actually bought it from a company called Wicked Brick, but it does a great job. It's very sturdy, and I'll go ahead and put up a picture now so that y'all can see it. Again, this will also be linked in the description. Very good stand if you have the UCS Falcon. And then the final display, or there's one more after this, but one of the more important displays in my LEGO collection are my bookshelves, which hold most of my LEGO sets in my collection. And these are actually surprisingly cheap too. It's only like $35 from Target, and I just get this like basic Target brand bookshelf. They're adjustable, which is great, and the smaller bookshelves are from the exact same brand. It's like called like Room Essentials or something like that from Target. This one is a bit cheaper though, just because it's not as big as the other one. And then the final kind of bookshelf that I have in my LEGO collection is actually next to my UCS Millennium Falcon. This one is really cheap actually, and it's also adjustable as well too, so it's very, very nice. It's on Amazon. It's only like 26 bucks, and I highly recommend this one as well. And then the final part of my LEGO display that we'll look at are my wall shelves. Now, what I like about these are the most customizable display part of my LEGO collection, and really the only thing that matters that you buy if you want to have the same ones as me is the shelf bracket. You get these from Home Depot. They're expensive but very high quality, and they can hold a lot of weight. And what's good is with these, you can customize it however you want. You can have your shelf as long as you want, whatever works for your display space. All that matters is the width of the piece of wood. Usually a 1x12 piece from Home Depot, or literally any like kind of shop will work. All that matters is the width. You can literally customize the length and height however you want for your display. All that matters is the width, and of course you want to make sure that you get this exact shelf bracket so that it'll actually work with the wood that you buy. But I think these are great. I really like how customizable they are. You can really just fine-tune it to whatever your display demands. But anyway, that is how I display all of my LEGO. I tried to be as detailed as possible. Again, if you have any other questions, definitely let me know in the comments and I'll try and respond as best as I can to help y'all out. But again, everything that I use for my LEGO collection will be linked in the description so that you'll be able to find the exact products that I use to display my LEGO sets. So definitely let me know if this helped you out displaying your LEGO, and let me know what you thought of the video. But anyway, that's all for today's video. So thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate all of y'all. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you are new around here. But that's all for today. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.